Can you imagine one day you're actually doing well enough on YouTube with your Faceless channel, good enough to get monetized, and you're celebrating, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, bam, your channel gets demonetized, flagged, or even removed off of YouTube because of some new policies and new restrictions you didn't even know they had. YouTube is cracking down on Faceless channels, and you don't want to miss this video. Let's get into it. We're going to be talking about the changes in the YouTube policy program about Faceless channels and some things you need to know so that you will not be caught unaware. This very thing is happening on YouTube and is catching a lot of the small content creators with Faceless channels by surprise. But if you're in this community, you don't need to be surprised. You need to be informed and you need to be aware. Real creators are waking up to some cryptic email from YouTube talking about your content lacks sufficient original commentary and educational value. Or here's one of my favorites. Faceless content is not eligible for monetization. Say what? Especially after you've been already showing my videos, the same Faceless videos? So my question to YouTube is, since when? Since approximately the last 3 months. And also YouTube have some more updates coming out on July the 15th. And it's really going to affect Faceless channels and channels that run off of AI. The funny thing about it, those same videos that actually cannot be monetized, YouTube is still actually showing those videos, although they are not earning money through the YouTube partner program. I'm just going to say this, make it make sense. So here's the context and here's why it really matters and what's actually going on. YouTube is doing what I like to call a brand cleanup. They're doubling down on trust, credibility, and human connection, which is why some AI channels are being flagged right now. For some of you content creators who are hiding behind your B-roll, not to mention your stock images and your faceless AI generated slop. Yeah, I said it, it seems a little visceral, but some of it is slop and you guys know, you've seen it yourself. Talking loud in that AI voice and not really saying anything, not to mention those repurposed TikToks and Instagram. Well, YouTube is cracking down and it's laying the hammer down. They are taking people to YouTube court. And guess how YouTube is seeing channels like this? You're being seen as a risk. Let's break it down in this video. I'm going to be giving you 3 things that you need to know in order to run a successful and prosperous Faceless YouTube channel. And no, this video is not just about the rules. You've seen enough of those videos. But this video is going to be how you can protect your income, your channel's outcome, and your creativity, and not to mention your visibility on YouTube. Point number 1, AI is not the problem. Your intent is the problem. Now, look, I'm not here to paint YouTube in a bad light. I actually love being on YouTube and I love creating content. And I even love watching Faceless content, and I'm going to be making a Faceless channel of my own. So I needed to get myself educated about how to run a Faceless channel successfully. And let's talk about this early. YouTube hates, and I use the word hate, lazy content. Let me give you some examples of lazy content. If you're uploading AI generated videos with no real commentary at all, no real value, not to mention no human intentionality, YouTube doesn't count that as actually content. It counts it as spam. Just because you can use ChatGPT, which I love Chatty Cathy, doesn't mean you need to use ChatGPT from start to finish. I suggest you use ChatGPT or any of the other AI features as enhancement to your own creativity. And listen, just because you did put some B-roll over that AI generated video doesn't mean that that video won't get deemed as a low content video. So I'm not going to just present the problem because I'm not Captain Obvious. I'm actually going to give you some solutions. Let's talk about what actually works when it comes to Faceless content. Add some real commentary, even if it's just a voiceover. Show some proof of your research. And if you use ChatGPT, explain the overall concept in your own voice, with your own thoughts, with your own critical thinking. Don't just upload some AI jargon and call it quits and call it done and think you're good. Now listen, I love using AI. I call my AI Chatty Cathy. I use ChatGPT as part of my content workflow. You guys know that. I've built an AI content planner, which I call the Revealer AI machine. And listen, my content planner does more than just spits out scripts with no soul. It actually plans out my strategy, the titles, my positioning on all the socials, and over email marketing. If you're interested in the Revealer AI tool, I'll leave you a link below so that you can grab yours. It's only the price of 2 cups of coffee if you drink coffee from Starbucks. Point number 2, reused content equals reused value. I know that one might hurt a little bit, but you guys know I keep it real. Let me give you a little scenario about reused content. You took the time to re-edit and repurpose a viral TikTok video. Maybe you added some subtitles. Maybe you even added some color correction. But let me tell you what YouTube considers this as reused content. And I know you might be saying, well, I added some things, I shifted some things, I changed some things around, but YouTube is getting more strict in these times because on the socials, things are getting more competitive. If you've been on YouTube for a while or on any of the socials, things are not just getting more competitive, they're actually getting more repetitive. And different platforms like Twitch or YouTube is trying to break out of that repetitive box of repetitive content. Listen, just cutting up somebody's video will get you cut straight out of the game when it comes to monetization or staying on these platforms. And here's some things that you can do so that you won't fall into the reused trap. Create an intro and an outro of your own branding on the video. Add some new voiceover commentary and then pull in some real context, especially if you're doing some kind of review. Bring in some stats, bring in some kind of new relevant information from the author or the creator that you're doing a review on or their content that you're reviewing. Other thing you can do is use some transformative edits. I know editing can be one of the things that are holding you back, but I'm here to challenge you. Editing can be the very thing that levels up your content instead of keeping you small. Here's what I'm going to be doing, especially if I'm going to reuse content. For example, if I'm doing a review and I have to reuse either my content or someone else's content, I'm always going to add an intro and outro, even if it's within the clips that I'm using. I'm going to give some kind of perspective about what I'm about to show, and then I'm going to be reflective about what the viewer has just seen. That way I'm able to give my opinion on the clip, and that is considered bringing a new idea. This way I know that I'm not only changing the face or the attitude of the video, I'm actually putting my fingerprint and my stamp on the video with my own ideas. Point number 3, monetization does not necessarily equal freedom. You're not free to just do anything. This is not the Wild Wild West. We spend months and months on the platform trying to achieve monetization, and then we get there. And just because we do obtain the monetization doesn't mean we get to stay there and do anything that we feel like we can do. Monetization does not mean that you are safe. Right now, there's proof everywhere. Right now, YouTube is retrospectively demonetizing channels. What do I mean? It's going back, looking at old content. Doing a video about Corey Kenshin. Every time that he came back on YouTube after taking a break and he blew up, it seemed like YouTube would go back in his old content retroactively or retrospectively and give him a channel flag for whatever reason. Now, he wasn't reusing content, even though his case was different, but it goes to show just because you're safe today doesn't mean that the content that you made 2-3 years ago is safe. I'm not out here fear mongering. I'm spreading information so that you can be educated, aware, and ready. So here's what you can do. Continue to upload all your videos, because what that does is shows YouTube is that you're consistently growing in originality. Hopefully you can do things like getting down in your comment section and having human interaction, because YouTube with some of these faceless channels doesn't know if it's bots or not. A lot of the faceless channels are run strictly by AI, and YouTube is not having it, not in this season. It wants humans with real creativity on the platform, creating content with originality. Here's another tip. I talk about branding all the time, not just your personal brand, but actually bringing forth your branding and your ethos, whether it's your brand colors or whether it's how you talk, your creative voice. You need to be able to have your creative voice translated in your videos so that you don't sound like a robot and so that YouTube doesn't think you're a bot. So here's the deal. Don't hide behind your templates. You need to bring your own personality and your own creativity forth in your videos. And if you want to know what YouTube favors in 2025, it loves content creators who touch lives and not just chase some trends. Even if you are a faceless channel, the message that you bring, it needs to feel like a fingerprint and less like a copy and paste. So here's the truth. Nobody is saying that faceless channels can't win in 2025. YouTube is not here to squash your creativity. It's here to squash the chaos and squash the clones. And if this video has hit home for you, I'm going to leave you a downloadable guide so that you can understand more of the rules when it comes to faceless channels, so they can help you and it can help me continue to grow and know what it is that we are supposed to know when it comes to the rules on YouTube. If you want to continue to grow your YouTube channel, grow your brand, I'm going to leave you this playlist next, and I'll see you in the next time on the next video.